Okay. So now we are going to study how to find out square root of a complex number. Okay, square root of a complex number. The topic is square root of a complex number. Now you remember that in case of real numbers, I give you any real number, positive or negative. If I give you a positive real number or 0, you can find its square roots, right? It will have two square roots. For example, 4 has two square roots. What are they? 2 and
The
minus
plus
2.
2 and minus 2.
Very
Plus
good.
2 and minus 2.
2 has two square roots. What are they? Root 2 and minus root 2.
So
Right? Similarly, a negative real number. A negative real number also, we know how to find out square roots of negative real numbers. For example, if I ask you to find the square roots of minus 2, okay, so it will also have two square roots. One will be what? Root 2i. The other one will be what? Minus
4
root 2i.
minus root
Right?
2i.
Suppose I ask you to find the square roots of minus 4 plus or minus root over of minus 4. So one of them will be 2i, the other one will be
The
what?
2i and minus 2i.
Minus 4. So just like this, we know how to find square roots of real numbers. Now we will learn how to find square roots of complex numbers. Okay. Okay, square roots of complex numbers. For example, suppose I ask you to find the square root of uh, suppose I ask you to find the square root of minus I. Okay, find the square root of minus I. Find the square root of roots of minus I. Now minus I, is it a real number? No, minus I is an imaginary number, or you can say it is a complex number, right? Minus I, you can write it like what? 0 minus I, right? It is a complex
Yes,
number, right?
sir.
Okay. So how do we find square roots of this number? Okay, how is it possible? How can we do that? So let's just assume, let's say x plus iy be one of the square roots of minus I. You know that just like in case of real numbers, every real number has two square roots. Similarly, a complex number also has two square roots. Okay, complex number has also two square roots. Got my point? So let's say x plus iy is one of the square roots of minus I. Got my point so far? Okay.
Yes, sir.
good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Just like in high school, if somebody asks you find the square roots of 9, how do you do it? Find the square roots of 9. You say let x be the square root of 9. Let x be the square root of 9. Now if x is square root of 9, then square of x will be equal to what? 9. Right? If x is square root of 9, then x square will be equal to 9. Then x square minus 9 is equal to 0. Then x square minus 3 square is equal to 0. Then x plus 3 into x minus 3 is equal to 0. So that means x is equal to 3 or minus 3. So in this manner you find the square roots of 9. Okay, one of them is 3, the other one is minus 3. Remember? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
first you assume let x be a square root of 9. Okay, and with this procedure you find the values of x. Okay. Similarly here, let's say x plus iy be one of the square roots of minus I. Remember, square root of a complex number will also be another complex number. So let's say x plus iy be the square root of minus I. That means, that is, if x plus iy is the square root of minus I, then x plus iy whole square will be equal to what? Minus I, isn't it?
4 minus I.
Isn't it? Just like if x is square root of 9, then x square is equal to what? 9, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, x plus iy is the square root of minus I, so x plus iy whole square will be equal to minus I. As simple as that. Everybody getting it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so now just open the bracket. A plus b whole square. This is a, this is b. A plus b whole square is what? A square plus b square plus 2ab. So x square plus iy square plus 2ab means 2 into x into iy, means I into 2xy. Isn't it? 2 into x into iy. Okay, got it. Is equal to minus I. So here x square iy whole square means what? I square into y square, and we know that I square is equal to what? Minus 1. So
The minus
this
1.
becomes what? Minus y square. Got it? Because you know
Yes,
that
sir.
I square is equal to minus 1. So I square y square becomes minus 1 into y square. So becomes minus y square plus I into 2xy is equal to minus I. So here we have two complex numbers. One is on the left, the other one is on the right, and they are equal to each other. So two complex numbers, if they are equal to each other, that is possible only under one condition, that their corresponding real parts must be equal to each other and their corresponding imaginary parts must also be equal to each other. Get my point so far?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now this complex number, look here, right now it is in a standard form. If you can't see, let me just keep x square minus y square within brackets, then you can easily see that it is in a standard form. A plus I b, this is a real number, plus I into another real number. This is standard form of a complex number, remember? And the real part of this complex number is what? X square minus y square.
2 minus y square.
And what is the imaginary part? 2xy, isn't
So
it?
2x.
Okay. So this is equal to minus I. Can I write minus I as 0 plus minus 1 into I? You get my point so far? It is
Yes,
in
sir.
standard form, right?
Yes,
Now
sir.
standard form.
Yes, sir.
So these two complex numbers are equal. That means only one thing is possible. That is x square minus y square must be equal to the real part of this complex number, which is 0, and the imaginary part of the complex number on the left hand side 2xy must be equal to the imaginary part on the right hand side. And what is the imaginary part on the right hand side? Minus 1.
The
Right?
minus 1.
Okay. Now do you know why we are doing all this? What we are trying to accomplish here? You see, we are trying to find the square roots of minus I. We are trying to find the square roots of minus I. And we have made the assumption that one of the square roots of minus I is x plus iy, where x and y are real numbers, they are variables. Now my target is to find the values of x and y, because it is not enough to just say x plus iy is square root of minus I. What is x, what is y? Okay, so my target is to find the value of x and y. If I am able to find the values of x and y, then obviously I can say that this is the square root of minus I. Get my point so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
okay, so our target here is to find the values of x and y. Okay, now let's wait here. See, we have x square minus y square is equal to 0. We have 2xy is equal to minus 1. How do we proceed from here? Okay, let me just remind you this thing. In high school you must have learned, suppose you have the value of a minus b. Now think about it. If you also have the value of a plus b, then won't it be easier for you to find the values of both a and b? Have to solve the equation. You can add them. Then 2a is equal to 12. Then a is equal to 6. Remember?
Yes,
This is how
sir.
you should do. Okay. Similarly, here also you want to find the values of x and y. Now we have x square minus y square is equal to 0. Wouldn't it be convenient for us to find the value of x square plus y square first? If we are able to do that, then how do we do it? We just add the two equations, minus y square plus y square will cancel out. Then x square plus x square 2x square is equal to whatever these two sum will be. Okay, and then we'll be able to find the value of x square. Got it? So how do we do it? Now, do you remember this formula? That a plus b whole square minus a minus b whole square is equal to 4ab.
Yes,
Remember?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So a plus b whole square is also equal to, if I take this to the right hand side, then a plus a minus b whole square plus 4ab, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
If I take this thing to the right hand side, this is minus this. If it goes to the right hand side, it becomes what? Plus this. Got my point so far? Okay. Okay. Now just put a is equal to x square and b is equal to y square. In this formula, just put a is equal to x square and b is equal to y square. Then x square plus y square whole square will be equal to x square minus y square whole square plus 4x square y square. You get my point so far?
Yes,
Are we clear
sir.
on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you see
Yes,
here,
sir.
you see here we know the value of x square minus y square. We know the value of x square minus y square. Also we know the value of 2xy. And if we know the value of 2xy, then also we know the value of 4x square y square, because square of 2xy is 4x square y square. So we know this value, we know this value. Easily we can get the value of x square plus y square whole square. After that we can find the value of x square plus y square. Get my point so far? So this is the trick. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's proceed. Okay. Yes. So here you have the value of 2xy is equal to minus 1. Now squaring both sides, both sides, 2xy square is what? 4x square y square is equal to minus 1 square will be what? 1.
Sir, 1.
Isn't it? Okay. So now we have the value of x square minus y square, which is equal to 0. We also have the value of 4x square y square, and we just derived this formula. You have to memorize this formula for the time being. X square plus y square whole square will be equal to what? X square minus y square whole square plus 4x square y square. We just derived the formula. Get my point so far? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now what is x square minus y square? It is 0. So x square minus y square whole square means 0 square will be equal to what? 0
Plus 0.
plus 4x square y square value is what? 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Got it? So x square plus y square whole square is equal to 1. Now think about it. We have a number here x square plus y square. Squaring it, we are getting 1. That means x square plus y square might be 1, or it also might be minus 1, right? Because
Yes.
1 square is 1, minus 1 square is 1. Okay, x square plus y square whole square is equal to 1. So x square plus y square might be equal to 1, and it also might be equal to minus 1. Get my point so far? Clear on this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now think about it. Now think about it. We know that x and y both are real numbers. We know, okay? We know that x and y both are real numbers. From the beginning, we have taken x, let x plus iy be the square root of minus I. And in x plus iy, x was the real part, y was the imaginary part. And both are real numbers. Remember, we know that x and y both are real numbers. Now, if both are real numbers, acha, square of a real number is what? Can it be negative? Can the square root of a real number be negative? No, it is
No,
either
sir.
0 or greater than 0, right? Similarly, square of a real number is y is also real number, so y square is always either 0 or greater than 0. Okay, it cannot be negative, right? Square of a real number cannot be negative. Square of an imaginary number is negative, right? Square of I is an imaginary number. Square of I is minus 1. That is an imaginary number. But if it is a real number, square of a real number cannot be negative. So as you can see here, both of these numbers are not, none of them is negative. Both are non-negative numbers. Neither this nor this. Okay. Both of them are non-negative. Okay. None of them is negative. Get my point so far? Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now you tell me, if you
Yes, sir.
are, now you tell me, is it possible that if you add two non-negative numbers and in return you get a negative number? Is it possible? Is it possible that by adding two non-negative real numbers you get a negative real number?
No,
Give me
sir.
any. Is it possible? For example, 2 is a positive number. Suppose 3 is a positive number. If I add two positive numbers, I get what? A positive number. Suppose 2 is a positive number. If I add it with 0, again I get a positive number. Suppose 0 plus 2, it is also a positive number. If both are 0, then it is equal to 0. Now it is not possible that you add two non-negative numbers and in return you are getting a negative number. Okay, this is impossible. Get my point so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is not possible. So that means x square plus y square is equal to what? 1. Okay, this is not possible. Okay, so already we knew that x square minus y square is equal to 0. Already we knew that x square minus y square is equal to 0, and now we have obtained x square plus y square is equal to 1. So if we add the two equations, you get my point so far?
Yes, sir.
You have to number the two equations. This be equation number 1 and this be equation number 2 and this be equation number 3. Equation number 3. Adding equation 1 and equation 3. If I add equation 1 and equation 3, what happens? That plus y square minus y square cancel out. Then I get 2x square is equal to what?
Sir, 1.
1, isn't it? Then what is x square? 1 by
Sir, 1
2.
by 2.
Well, then what is x? See, x is a real number. X is a real number and x square is equal to 1 by 2. So x might be x is plus or minus root over
Sir,
of
root
1 by
over of
root
1 by
1.
2.
Got it? It is either 1 by root 2 or it is minus 1 by root 2.
Sir, minus 1 by root 2.
You get my point so far? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, we know the value of x square, which is equal to 1 by 2. In either of these two equations, by replacing x square with 1 by 2, you can find the value of y square, right? This is how solve equation in high school, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
putting x square is equal to 1 by 2 in equation 1. Putting x square is equal to 1 by 2 in equation 1. Now equation 1 says x square minus y square is equal to 0. If I put x square is equal to 1 by 2, then y square is also equal to 1 by 2, isn't it? Are got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now if square of y is equal to 1 by 2 and y is a real number, then y must be equal to plus or minus root over of 1 by 2. That is 1 by root 2 or minus 1 by root 2. Well, as you can see here, we are getting two sets of values for x and y both. For x, we are getting two values, 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2. For y also, we are getting 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2. For x, we are getting two values. For y also, we are getting two possible values. Now the question is, which value of x goes with which value of y? X has two values, y has two values. Now the question is, which value of x goes with which value of y? Well, how will you know that? Look at equation number 2. Look at equation number 2. In this equation, as you can see, that 2xy is negative, right? Minus 1, it is a negative number. 2xy is a negative number. Xy is equal to minus 1 by 2. As you can see here, multiplying x and y, we get a negative number. That means what? X and y both must be of opposite signs, right? Because you see, if x and y both are positive, then positive into positive you get what? Positive.
The positive.
If x and y both are negative, then negative into negative is what? Positive.
The positive.
But here, according to our question, 2xy is equal to minus 1, that is product of x and y is negative. It simply means that x and y must have opposite signs. Otherwise, their product will not be equal to negative. One of them must be positive, then the other one must be negative. Got my point so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
from
sir.
okay. So from equation 2, x and y, let me write here, from equation 2, x into y is less than 0. Therefore, x and y must be of opposite signs, right? Opposite signs. That means if we accept the value of x as positive, then with it the value of y which has to be associated, that is negative. Okay, positive value of x will be associated with negative value of y, negative value of x will be associated with positive value of x, sorry, positive value of y. Get my point so far? X and y are of opposite sign. Get my point so far?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here x value is 1 by root 2 or minus 1 by root 2, y value is also 1 by root 2 or minus 1 by root 2. But which x is associated with which y? So you see that, therefore, when x is equal to 1 by root 2, then y must be equal to minus 1 by root 2. Okay? Similarly,
Yes, sir.
when x is equal to minus 1 by root 2, then y must be equal to plus 1 by root 2. X has two values, y has two values, but this value of x is associated with this value of y, this value of x is associated with this value of y, because product of x and y is negative. Get my point so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we know that the square root, therefore the square roots of minus I. Well, from the very beginning we have assumed that the square roots of minus I is what? X plus iy. Okay. Then what are those square roots? Okay, the square roots of minus I are, one is 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2i, and the other one is minus 1 by root 2 plus
The plus 1 by
1 by root
2.
2, right? X is, when x is 1 by root 2, because you see the square roots of minus I are what? X plus iy, we assumed, right? The square roots of minus I are x plus iy. And when x is equal to 1 by root 2, then y is equal to minus 1 by root 2. I proved it. So square one of the square roots of minus I is what? 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2i. And what will be the other square root? Minus 1 by root 2.
Oh, minus 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root 2i.
What about the others? Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So you see that a complex number also has two square roots. Minus I has two square roots, and these two are the square roots of minus I. Get a point so far? So take the screenshot and take it. One second. Let me zoom it in. Okay, take it. Done?
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Okay, take it. Done?
Done, sir.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay, take it. Done?
Done, sir.
Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So